Chapter 6, Profit or Loss, Choosing Your Selling Prices on eBay. So far, we've learned to look at eBay in a completely different way. Instead of using the auction site to make money, you're going to use it to promote your business and build your mailing list, customer base, and website traffic. But apart from mentioning the need to keep your eBay sales prices low in order to attract more customers, we haven't really discussed the topic in cold, hard numbers. How low is low? Should you be making a loss on eBay or breaking even? What should you be charging for your products? There are pros and cons to low prices, and we'll cover all of these in this chapter. But the most important word to remember in this section of the book is experiment. You need to experiment with your prices when you're looking to promote your business on eBay. Prices aren't set in stone, and sometimes even the smallest price change can make a big difference to the number of customers you get coming through your virtual shop doorway and buying a low-priced item of stock. The power of the number 7. Before we go into more depth concerning prices, let's find out which number you should always end your sales price in. It's the number 7. Why? Well, the truth is, no one really knows. People do tend to find prices that end in odd numbers more appealing than even-numbered ones. Hence, while you more often see items in stores priced at $4.99 instead of $5, it's perceived as being a better deal and a lower price, even though the difference is only 1 cent. But why end in a 7? Research has shown that prices ending in a 7 are more attractive to customers than any other number. So even though it's a mystery, don't knock the research. End your prices in a 7 wherever possible. The only variation to this would be if you are selling an ebook, for example, and the vast majority of the ones that are already selling on eBay are for 1 cent. In this case, you'd fall in line with them instead of pricing yourself out of the market. Even if it's just a few cents difference, people will always go for the better deal whenever they can. Should you be trying to cover your eBay selling fees? The answer to this really depends on the product you are selling, and you need to take all the selling factors into consideration before making a decision. Obviously, it would be ideal if you could cover all your costs within the selling price of your product, but if you're selling ebooks for a cent or two each, you're obviously not going to be able to do that. But the only investment into that ebook will be the amount of time it takes you to write it. There are no physical costs involved. You don't need to buy it in multiples, and you don't need to stock it. It's safely stored on your computer, and you can send out as many copies as you like without it costing you anything. A tangible product will have a unit price, but it may be sold at a slightly higher price than the ebook. You will also need to figure postage and packaging costs into the picture, although postage is usually paid for by the customer, unless you decide to offer free postage, of course. Overall, you could find the loss taken on each product will turn out to be the same, even though one has a higher price than the other. We've talked about looking at these low-priced eBay sales as a form of advertising. You're not going on eBay to make money. You're offering several products that are extremely low in price in order to attract the attention of the niche customers you're after. It's those valuable follow-up sales and sign-ups to the newsletter you send out informing people of your latest and higher-priced products that is the ultimate goal to aim for. What you are essentially doing is offering loss leaders as bait to attract new customers. Loss leaders are a form of promotion in which you'll take a hit on that first sale in order to obtain bigger and more profitable sales later on. In short, it's a trade-off. Lose some money now to earn more in the future. Budget for success. The best way to keep tabs on your eBay ventures is to set yourself a realistic budget to stick to. Make sure it's an amount of money you and your business can afford, and set it aside to pay for your eBay listings and associated fees. It should also cover the cost of buying any tangible items you want to sell. In this way, it's much like setting a budget for advertising. You might have $100 set aside for the purpose, but you just need to decide how to spend it. Obviously, the cheaper the selling price, the cheaper your listings and final value fees will be. But you should still keep tabs on what you are offering for sale and how successful each product is. If something isn't performing as well as it should be, try tweaking the title and the price a little. And if it still doesn't draw in the customers, you should think about dropping it and replacing it with another product that has more potential. The issue of selling price and value. The task of setting the selling price of your product isn't usually too hard. If it's a tangible product you have bought from a wholesale source, they will usually tell you what the recommended retail price is, and that's pretty much what you stick to. But on eBay, the retail price doesn't always apply. You can pick almost any product, find out the recommended price, and do a search for it on eBay and come back with a variety of prices both higher and lower than that amount. If an item is popular, and especially if it's hard to get a hold of, you'll often see the price rise as a result of supply and demand, especially at Christmas. If eBay is awash with that item, the price usually drops as a result, as there are more items available than there are people interested in buying them, so everyone is vying to capture that all-important sale. And of course, when you write and create your own ebook, the subject of pricing becomes even harder. You can gauge how other similar ebooks are selling, but you might not know how long they are in comparison to yours. And yours will, of course, be unique to you. There is also the problem of how potential customers view products with a low price. Sometimes people can associate a low price with a low-value item. The only sure way of arriving at the right price for each product is to do some research and see what other people are selling similar products for. You can then use this as a benchmark for your own items. You can help to dispel some of the negative feelings some people have for low prices equaling low quality by giving out as much information about the product as you can. Making sure your listing is as professional and helpful as possible is just as important for a product that sells for a cent as it is for a product that sells for $100. The main thing is how the customer perceives you as a seller. Giving out a positive image goes hand in hand with how your selling price is perceived. If your image is good, the customer will see your offer as a great deal offered by a good seller. If it's not so good, the customer is more likely to see you as someone who just wants to be rid of the stock that doesn't sell too well. Luckily, it is quite well known that many sellers use cheap ebooks to drive traffic off eBay and onto their own websites. So the notion of the 1-cent ebook is not a new one. People are quite used to being able to get ebooks for this kind of price, and often search eBay's listings to find titles that are of interest to them. The key point to remember is this: no one expects to get the best ebook on earth for 1 cent. So make yours as good as you possibly can and surprise them with the overall quality and content of it. This will up the curiosity factor and encourage them to sign up for your newsletter and visit your website. Part 1 of 10. Another good strategy for funneling visitors from eBay onto your website in search of further information is to offer an ebook that is actually the first part in a 10-part set. The first part should be a standalone ebook that contains links to your website where the rest can be purchased. In this case, where there is a high chance that people will want to find out what the rest of the course has in store, you can and should offer the first part for sale at just 1 cent. You need to be careful of two things in this case. Make sure the ebook you sell on eBay is useful and usable in itself. The customer should not be made to order the rest to get some benefit from it. Make sure you do not state that the rest of the set can be bought from your website in the eBay listing itself. This is a good way of making sure the loss leader product you offer on eBay for 1 cent has a definite and very strong link to your website. This will convert still more customers from eBay into customers of your own. There's no doubt that a low 1-cent price, or at least a price that's under $1, will convert many more browsers into buyers. And that means you can build one very important thing on eBay: your feedback rating. The higher it goes and the closer to 100% you can keep it, the better you will be regarded by potential customers. Many people check the feedback of a seller before making a purchase. If it's at 100% and they have sold hundreds, if not thousands, of items, that seller is more likely to sell even more as they have already established a good reputation for themselves. What about higher-priced products? If you are coming round to the idea of using eBay to drive traffic to your own website and build your email list at the same time, why not expand your presence on this site by listing other higher-value items as well? This is especially good for tangible products that you already have on your website. If you can list items that are consumable, so much the better. Just remember to put that sticker on each consumable that has your website address on it. After all, you don't want repeat sales to be through eBay, do you? As a rule of thumb, apart from your 1 or 2 cent listings, aim to list products which are $5 or less. This is still a low enough price for people to take a chance and buy something from someone they don't yet know. Use these items to back up your rock-bottom price sellers and develop the range you have on eBay. The bottom line is this: do your research, see what other people are doing, and experiment to see which price gets the best results. Only by doing this can you hope to maximize the potential of eBay as a means to drive more traffic to your website.